What's up, guys? We have another edition of the Wolfpack Way. Today, I have my business partner and good friend, Taylor Bunney, on the episode, and she has an amazing track record of business over the last 10 to 15 years in real estate. But we're going to dial in on a specific piece of her story that I can't wait to share, because I talk about this so much in the courses and all of my content, and she has absolutely dialed in on building an entire business through her CrossFit gym. She has other lead sources and pillars. She kind of does it all, single mom, all the things. But Taylor, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So while you're here, definitely like, comment, subscribe, but we're going to get right into it. And Taylor, we're going to focus really on your CrossFit gym and how you've basically taken that from something that you do, right? Somewhere you go often, to an entire business strategy from events and all the things. So tell us a little bit about, how you found that place and what kind of your immediate needs were when you first walked into the CrossFit gym versus what they are now.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny. It was during COVID. I grew up in the North Denver area, right? So I know a lot of these people already. But during COVID, gyms were closed. I did not want to wear a mask in the gym. And two of my friends from high school who also own a CrossFit gym started just working out in their garage. So they kept inviting me over to work out. And I never wanted to try CrossFit because it scared the crap out of me. And finally, I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. Right? Like they just kept asking me to go. And I quickly fell in love with it. And we went from working out in their garage to, gyms reopening and just being a part of that community that was already built. And there are other great realtors that do work out in that gym. But I think because it's something I became so passionate about, it was really easy for me to start marketing myself there, if that makes sense.
Right. And I mean, I would assume, because actually one of the deals that we did originally when we first met was somebody within that CrossFit community. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if it was just from before, if it was one of those guys you were working out with.
It was the owner.
Was it? Nice. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of come full circle. So you're already in that community. You're already serving those, because that was well before 2020. And you're going there, but you're going there to work out. Right. And talk a little bit about your mindset. And, it's definitely not like, hey, I'm going to the gym to get clients. So tell me a little bit about how you started to become the real estate agent of the gym, or the box, as they call it, I think, in CrossFit. Is that right? I mean,
I like
do we
that.
call it a gym?
Box, yeah. When I got into real estate, I was doing a lot of open houses, and I was trying to find different groups of people, not realtors, that I could groups to join where I could get leads, right? And just become like the realtor that everybody goes to. And, I tried mom groups when Drake was little, and that just wasn't really my thing. And, when I started at Keller Williams, we talked about that a lot. Where can you go join where you can find clients? And nothing ever stuck out to me. And I feel like I'd hear horror stories from people who would start doing random things at their church, but it wasn't something they were passionate about, or they would join these other volunteer groups and they hated what they were doing. And so of course you're not going to get clients, because you're just not excited to be there. And then it organically just started to grow. People would talk to me and, oh, you're so-and-so, you sold so-and-so their house, right? Or I would show up at random class times just because it fit my schedule that way. And people would be like, hey, by the way, after the class is done, I had a few questions for you about my HOA or about my loan, or, hey, and even people that didn't use me have reached, they've used me as a resource. And I always tell people it's okay if you're not working with me, I'm still happy to give you advice. And the referrals have just snowballed from those people. Right. And sponsoring events there has been huge too, right? Because I already want to be there. So it's easy. And then if I'm bringing in swag or goodie bags for a competition, I just simply bring in the things that I would want.
Right. And so I mean, that's a huge piece of it, right? Because the easy, example is church, right? You can see the realtors that go to church to build business, and that typically is not the idea.
It's not
right?
authentic. And people,
right.
people can see
right. You're going to, stay in shape, to get jacked, to do all the things, right? Some community, all the things. And then naturally, as you kind of build through that, then people start to reach out. Right. Everybody loves to ask realtors how the market is. Right. That's everyone's favorite question. So obviously, as you go, and then, you spoke a little bit to this, the events, right? Talk a little bit about that and kind of what that does. So you're not, I would assume that when you're doing your workouts, I've seen some of the intensity of those workouts. You're not talking about real estate.
No.
Right. So it's not like you're going to the gym to be that person that talks to more people than weights they touch.
Right. No.
Right. So tell me a little bit about how that strategy has kind of snowballed, how you've gotten into that partnership, how you're like, oh yeah, we're going to sponsor this event, we're going to sponsor this event, and what it looks like when you do sponsor those events.
Yeah. So they do like 2 big competitions a year. I sponsored one of them, and it's actually the biggest CrossFit competition in the state. So that's a really good one to get in front of people. And it's definitely been trial and error as far as, staying in touch with people afterwards. But the way I look at my events when I do them now is I'm not necessarily sponsoring these events to get business. I'm sponsoring these events simply as a thank you for being so loyal to me. So like the one that we're doing, it's usually July. I think it's September this year, Battle of the Boxes. It's $5,000 to be the premium sponsor. And I have always been like, man, that's just such an expense. But then when I look back at my business from the previous year and I'm like, this is the least I can do, and my name is on all the t-shirts. I have a big banner that hangs in the gym that has my name on it. And I customize that banner so it has some CrossFit stuff on it too. And it says like proud member and sponsor of CrossFit Mob. And not everybody, but typically if you do a video of yourself working out in the gym, it just so happens that my banner is right behind you. And I can't.
Premium sponsor space, right?
Literally. And I helped volunteer at a competition a few weeks ago, and I had somebody come up and introduce himself to me. And he was like, I don't know you, but I feel like I know you because your name is on all of my t-shirts. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's funny, Yeah. And then I volunteered. It was like a 10-hour day. And I didn't think anything of it. And then later that week, I had one of the people that competed reach out to me because he and his wife want to buy their first home. And as far as swag goes, like I make a swag bag for all of the competitors, and it doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, I'll get on Amazon and buy a bulk of, I can post pictures, I can post links or whatever you want to see, but like these mesh bags, and inside of them I put ibuprofen, a protein bar, liquid IV, and then just like a printout of who I am.
Okay. And are you the only sponsor that does that, or is that just an addition to what they get when they register?
There's a multitude of things like that. Yeah, there's different sponsors. I'm the only real estate agent that sponsors.
Okay. And you mentioned like the biggest competition in the state. Have you expanded outside of your specific gym with that sponsorship?
I have not.
Not yet. You guess you just have to run your own competition because the premium sponsor is not getting us there. Okay. No, but that's really cool. And I think obviously when you start to think about it and when you build a business, there's, $5,000, but it's also a write-off for advertising and all the things. We're not tax professionals over here, but there's definitely opportunities for that. And as you kind of go, like, what would you say, the amount of return on each year as you grow? Because ultimately, as you're saying, you're building a brand, right? You're just making this a part of your brand, who you are, you're there, your banner's in the pictures, you're doing the things. And so how many, from year one to now, it feels like every time we talk, it's like, yep, somebody called me from the gym, they're going to sell by. How many transactions do you think originally you kind of gained from it, and then now on an annual basis, what do you think that looks like?
Probably 10 a year.
10 a year. It's pretty good. Right. And I mean,
give or take.
Right. Right. So we're at an average of 10 a year.
They're usually a buy sell.
Right. And at that spot, I mean, what's the average price point where you're looking hyper local?
700,000.
Right. So the return on investment, if you do the quick math, is it's pretty amazing, especially as you add up. So as we kind of continue and kind of that mindset, and that's directly people at the gym, right? Are you counting like when someone buys a house and then the next week they're like, hey, you need to call Taylor, and they have nothing to do with the gym? Or is that?
That's just me thinking about the people that are there and making, right. And because I want to be there anyway, right? I'm meeting people all of the time. There's people that come in to watch their kids compete or their grandkids or just their friends. I do a raffle as well, and we can talk a little bit about that. But yeah, I mean, I meet so many people doing that. And there have been people that have reached out years later that I don't even remember seeing their face. And I've also I've sponsored that competition and then just had my lender stand behind my table, my raffle table, so that I can compete too.
And then you go beat them. So you beat them in the competition and then you get business from them.
I wish once.
Just once. Perfect. So, and I mean, ultimately, here's the deal. It's a hyper local opportunity. It's somewhere you're going 2, 3, hopefully 5 times a week. I don't know how many CrossFit workouts you're supposed to do a week, but because clearly that's not my gig. But you're there, you're working out, you're present. I mean, when people do, you mentioned the raffle, so we can talk a little bit about that. When people do, sign up for the raffle, what's that look like on your follow-up? Is it constant, emails? Do you do a ton of that? Do you do drip emails, or what's that look like? Let's talk about the raffle process from beginning to end, I guess.
Okay. Well, you might have some pointers for me on this one. I have a QR code sign up where people have to fill out a form. And then a few days later, I'll just go through and draw random numbers out of a hat and do a video to send out to tell them that they won. And then they have to meet with me in person to pick up their gift. I've also done, this was a fun one. I can't remember what the prize was, but it was whoever could get the largest amount of burpees in a minute, they won a prize. And that was fun because it drew people over to my table, not only, to sign up, but everybody wanted to know what was going on.
Everybody wants to show off.
Yeah. And I right. And I want to do something like that again this year, but I want to make it more fun, like something, I haven't thought that up yet, but.
Right. So they do that. They get the competition, the in-person meeting, and then what? Where are those names now, Taylor?
One of my 7 CRMs.
Okay. And what do they get?
They do get my newsletter. And I'm not going to lie, people do unsubscribe. Not too often. I think my unsubscribe rate's pretty low, but, and it should be my monthly marketing email. It's probably bi-monthly, but it's just like a market update. And then I advertise my CrossFit gym in there every few months as well. Like if people want to come in for free classes, again, because I want to help that business grow because they help me grow.
So here's the deal. It's what she's saying is it's not super consistent and it's not super spammy, but she's meeting them in person and she's retaining them.
Yeah.
Right. 10 deals a year from running a thing and then doing a bi-monthly or whatever newsletter, as she's extremely busy because she's serving those 10 people, but also because it's not really about the spammy follow-up email. That's not where people are coming from. As we kind of progress through this, it's pretty incredible that amount of production is coming from that relevance and presence at the gym. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's pretty cool. Now we're kind of going to round this off, but let's finish up with the fact that you mentioned your lender.
Yep.
Right. That's one of your industry partners, but I happen to know you use HVAC people from the gym, you use photographers. Talk a little bit about that strategy and how that's helped grow your business outside of just transaction by transaction.
As far as like sponsorships go, or just the relationships in general?
In general, just the relationships from the gym.
I mean, it's been huge, not only for my business, but my personal life as well. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Like a big one is the photography. Like we go to, you know, a website, or we see some big media website and we book appointments with them, and it feels so formal. My photographer, who I adore, and I've got a few different media people that I do like, but like Scott particularly, he goes to the gym. I have a relationship with him where we see each other dying on the floor. And then we also see each other when I'm dressed up to do videos and photo shoots. And it just feels so much more relaxed. And we can really just sit there and like, I'll see him at a CrossFit workout and we'll chat for 5 minutes about, you know, hey, this is something I have in my head. Let's talk about it later. He'll come back to me with an email later, like, hey, just wanted to follow up on everything that you said today. And to be honest, half the time I'm like, thank God you paid attention, because I don't know what came out of my mouth, you know?
Right. And then you post it on social media and it's funny and it goes crazy and people love it.
The bloopers. It works. And then when it's people you trust, like I've got a home inspector at my gym that I trust. I've got an HVAC person, flooring person, a few different banks or lenders that I work with. And you just like I trust them. Like I know if I hand my client their contact information, that they're not going to get taken advantage of and that they're not going to get ghosted, because that person has to see me. Right.
And if you're making that introduction, you want to make sure that whatever they're asking for is huge. Yeah. And as an agent, certainly a flooring contractor doesn't come into play typically in a transaction. No. However, if someone says, hey, Taylor, we're thinking about selling our house in 2 or 3 years, you know, do you have a floor contractor? Yeah, that guy doing pull-ups right over there. And then it's more of a family, right? Yep. So a community that was already established, took interest, started working out during COVID, doing those things, moved into, you know, starting to go to the gym, being a member, doing that, moved into sponsorships. Now it's moved into essentially you're a figurehead for that community.
Right.
Right. And so that's exactly the case. And it's blocks away from your house. It's, you know, local to you. So unlike me, who's driving hundreds of miles a day, it seems like sometimes, you're fairly local with that one pillar of your business. And so that's really a testament to kind of your personality, your connecting, all those things. And so then it's all of a sudden you're connecting people that don't even need real estate. Right. And all of a sudden everyone needs to talk to you every single day. You're at the gym about one thing or another. And I know we talk a little bit about that and some overwhelm that comes from that, but it's a masterful job.
Usually that's that different, like a normal gym, but yeah.
What is the overwhelm?
Like when you're on a treadmill or a stair stepper or just walking around and people don't realize that even though we're real estate agents and we don't have set schedules, that we're so busy. So typically when you and I are walking into a gym, we have 45 minutes or an hour. So I think that CrossFit's just made it like you have to be doing this and you have to give it everything right now. But that's going in really quick to being so busy. That's one thing that I really like about that is I'm going to go there and work out anyway. I know that we have a certain amount of time, and that's the same thing for other groups depending on what people are interested in. But if you don't have to meet contractors at coffee and spend an hour of your day doing that once a week. You don't have to meet people to put in your phone that you trust and give them an hour of your time all the time, because we don't have time for it. So you can find those people just being established in something that you actually care about.
Right. Somewhere where you're already going, yes. Turning something that you already do. You want to work out, you want to stay in shape, you want to be healthy, and you've turned it into a business generating machine for very limited costs, you know, especially up front. And then you grew it, right? And you became, you know, basically a administrator of a community without even kind of knowing it. And you're already there, you're working out and you're prospecting, right? I know how it works. Like, hey, Taylor, I want to talk to you about real estate. Great. Call me after, text me, book into my calendar, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's not like, okay, I need to reach out to this person and see if they're interested. It's, I'm already doing this. I'm already where I'm at, and I'm going to turn it into, a massive pillar of business. So really incredible what you've done. And thanks for kind of sharing that information. Now, this is not all Taylor does, right? She grabs that other pillar and she goes to build this other community and all the things. And so it's pretty incredible to watch on social media. So Taylor, where can people kind of follow you and just kind of see what your style is?
What I'm doing. They can find me on Instagram at Taylor Bunney, Bunney, period realtor is my Instagram.
Yeah, and we'll link it below. But and I guess for any agent that's watching this new or looking to get into something that is a little more natural for them, what's kind of the first thing that you would suggest that they do?
Write down what you do every day for a week and figure out where you're spending most of your time.
Perfect. And then start there.
Yeah. And if anybody needs help with ideas or like how they can get involved, I'm happy to help too.
Absolutely. Incredible and really cool to see you build your business organically. There's no paid Zillow leads. There's no paid anything. One of the top producers every single year that I've known her, and doing it pretty much solo, which is awesome. So thanks so much for hopping on, Taylor, and go follow her and check it out because it's pretty awesome and it's 100% the best way to build business.
It is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Taylor. We'll see you next time.